When They See Us was a popular movie spawned by Ava DuVernay, was also a woman who supported surviving R. Kelly. And I just find the irony in her coming with this story about these young men who were wrongly convicted, and then on another foot supporting the notion that girls on the same age bracket are so young and impressionable. But at the end of the day, we know the criminal justice system has a varying opinion on the subject, considering so many 16, 17-year-olds have been sentenced to jail time just like an adult. Some may not remember a woman by the name of Deelishis who appeared on a reality TV show called Flavor of Love. If you're not familiar with the show, it's basically surrounding around Flavor Flav finding love, flying in all these different women in which they put on public display a whole lot of immoral behavior. On that note, if you think about what went on with Robert Kelly and how this woman supports surviving R. Kelly and how they manipulated the fact that they didn't have the sufficient evidence to specifically charge him for the crimes they accuse him of, they orchestrated this whole RICO to fit the case. With that being said, why is he the exception when, as I just mentioned, I could roll off so many other reality shows based on the same foundation of flying women in, which would basically be looked at as the man act in my eyes? And yep, I know what some gon' say, but R. Kelly was trafficking little kids. It's mighty funny, in the New York case, they didn't present no little kids. The whole concept of the trial was manipulating this whole age factor, even though they couldn't prove that he had any contact with any of these women as minors, or if he had contact with any of them at all. But it's strange that you can have open dialogue and talk about these things on these platforms without weird individuals popping up trying to be relevant. So I wanted to use this current topic as an example as to hit on 2 points. Number one, the overall hypocrisy upon these certain laws that obviously are janky as hell. And two, is it now going to be okay for women or people in general to reinvent what a victim is when people have a right to go as they will instead of bringing their personal problems out for the public to consume and, in a sense, try to make them pick a side? So to bring you up to speed on this specific relationship that I want to use as an example, the guy Raymond was from the Central Park Five, and Deelishis, of course, the reality star. So according to the recent tabloids, when he was released from jail, he was already in a relationship and was cheating on her with Deelishis. Now, whether it was true or not, it was a lot of scandal around it. Fast forward, you know the saying, the way you get 'em is the way you lose 'em? Well, hey, now they're falling out. He's filed for divorce, and Deelishis has decided that she wants to tell her truth. And maybe now it should sink in where I'm going with this video. Why is it now the new norm when couples break up, they got to do these tell-alls? They got to come out on these social media platforms and tell their truth. If they have any grievances within the relationship, don't you think that's between them and the person they were in a relationship with? What happens when we let spiteful individuals use this as leverage, bring their personal problems to social media, and other people start to use these allegations and rants to build up cases in order to fulfill whatever plan or agenda they have for specific individuals? Now, when it comes to this man act, it doesn't take a genius to see that this is an act that should be revised and or vacated for the simple fact, how is it so many people have been charged with prostitution on one hand, But in this specific note, we're going to allow people to pick and choose if they want to claim to be a victim and claim to be trafficked if they want to avoid responsibility for their actions. Bringing back up Robert Kelly, it doesn't take a genius to recognize this man's sole purpose in his music career was not to traffic girls, yet people are willing to be complicit in overlooking the obvious corruption in his case because they feel like where there's smoke, there's fire, and are not demanding proof for these allegations. But then on the same foot, we want to pretend like Black Lives Matters people will organize to protest on certain ends, pretending like they're advocating for justice when they only advocate when it benefits them and or an agenda they're trying to fulfill. Think about these young boys from Central Park 5 that had to spend so much of their time incarcerated, locked up behind allegations that were unfounded. And compare it to the fact in Robert Kelly's case, all these rumors and allegations that people claim they knew and heard about were unfounded as well. So to perpetuate the narrative that this man has a history of abuse in itself is a violation. But let me get back on topic before I go to church up in here. Because this whole situation just irks my soul in the hypocrisy surrounding how people want to pick and choose the things they let these people bring to disrupt the public and then still bring no solutions, no remedies, but instead creates more division in an already oppressed community. So where's the hypocrisy, you might be wondering right about now? The hypocrisy is, in Robert Kelly's case, what if these people had been honest and told you the age of consent is 17? And even though these people keep perpetuating the narrative these girls were 17, then tell you they lied about their age, had fake IDs, etc., what if they told you they were in these alleged relationships with this man and were okay until specific individuals wherein they remembered, hey, I was 17 when we met, so 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years down the line, I can come back and be a victim. Then, if I went somewhere with you and we ended up having relations, the government can paint it like you trafficked me. So I can help the government if I feel some type of way about the way a relationship ended. Never mind the simple concept as in if you have a criminal complaint, you file a report and you act accordingly. Not run to the news, not run to social media, not make a docuseries. So with that said, I'll just continue to watch and see how this plays out. You know, with any given relationships, once you tell the wrong person and they start putting the wrong information in your ears and you overreact and do crazy things, it's easy to see how things can spiral out of control and everything you may have originally intended may go left. So that's why people need to be a little more conscious as of the things they're putting out there. If you involve yourself with certain type of people, you have to be willing to deal with the consequences that comes with that instead of always trying to play victim, which is what I believe a lot of people are growing comfortable in doing instead of taking accountability. In other words, for some of these women who engage in certain lifestyles and are comfortable dealing with certain individuals, I personally don't want to hear your tell-all, don't care nothing about your little stories. If you have a problem, I say very adamantly, handle it appropriately, okay?